It was way up there, and that when they were in the vanguard advocating for rights and rights, first branch, I mean the second branch of government. And so I'm honored to have him sit with us today, and that I am in Minnesota again. Let me say that this is not the first time having a town hall interaction, because there are a lot of interpretations whenever government officials pass this way. Why is he here? I'm here because I was here before. And I'm here because a lot of good people are here. I'm here because I think Minnesota represents the largest cluster of Liberians in the diaspora. I'm here because I come to listen and to get closer to the heartbeat of the issues here. I'm here because as Minister of Foreign Affairs, I have to be more concerned about your issues and get in the vanguard of the solution of your issues. If there is any one minister that should be closer to you, it should be the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Yes. So I'm here officially. To come to Minnesota is part of my job. Maybe before, as Finance Minister, when I came here, you might have considered me a stranger. But I'm the only minister with the title Foreign Affairs. I'm in a foreign land, so I'm in my local. So I want us to have a casual discussion. I know that you will note for fireworks. And I'm not going to censor you. I know that a lot of honorable people here. I respect you. And all I can ask for is a modicum of respect. But the issue is, let's talk our country, let's talk our future, let's talk our challenges, and give me the opportunity to listen to your suggestions as to the way forward. I don't come here with all the answers, because the first thing I confess is that I'm not omniscient. That belongs to Jesus Christ or some from other religion, we say Muhammad or others. So, but I just wanted to say briefly that I don't want to go too much into the past. We know our past history. A history that, if it were possible, we could want to escape some pages or chapters. But the only thing that I know, no matter how strong you are, you cannot do, because even Alexander the Great could not do. Even Saddam Hussein could not do. Gaddafi could not do. Obama cannot do, is to reverse the hand of the clock. Once it has passed, it has passed. You cannot change the past. The past is there, and the past is etched in history. All we can do is to look back at the past and get or learn lessons from the past, so that errors of the past cannot be replicated in the present and the future. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. But no matter what, we can all agree that we have a proud history with all our challenges. One, we are the first independent republic in Africa. We set the pace for the rest of Africa. Ghana, Egypt, Nigeria, and others were giving birth to through our advocacy. During the heydays of the struggle in South Africa and other places, African freedom fighters came to Liberia and got Liberian passports. including Nelson Mandela, Robert Mugabe, and others. And we noted for some historical facts, no matter how we say it. One, some of us we religiously follow soccer, and on that score, a lot of us agree. And one of the things we did, and it is not being political, we have to celebrate that we achieved a first in that dimension too, when George Weah, our compatriot, became the first African to have won World Best Player. No matter what side you are, you cannot controvert that achievement. It is an achievement that brings all of us together and makes all of us proud. And I don't think it will be an easy feat for any other African to replicate that achievement. It's been more than a decade, and we've heard about African best. I don't know whether an African has gotten European best. I don't know. But at least we the first. We got it. We can be proud about it. We also achieved another historical first, to have produced on the continent of Africa, a continent that is known for its male chauvinistic tendencies, to have looked at a woman. Some of us are from backgrounds that are very traditional. We are members of some of us poorer society, other societies. Some are Zoes and Bodios. And in traditional African society, women don't come closer. But the Bodios, the chiefs, and others were in the front line in pushing a woman. And so, for the sake of the country, we gave a woman a chance. And then we became the pace setter, the first country on the continent of Africa to have elected a female as a president. And at least, today now in the continent of Africa, we have two. Because there's one, Joyce Banda, that has ascended to the presidency after serving as vice president to the late Mutharika of Malawi, who passed away sometime this year. So I could go on and on. We are a small country with a rich history. One of our challenges of the past was what I call democracy deficit. Because of that, we saw the implosion occur. We had episodes of disaster, episodes of gloom. 1980, 1983, Nima raid, 1985, aborted coup, quote-unquote invasion. 1989, the People's Popular Uprising. 1992, Operation Octopus. 1996, the quote-unquote April 6th. Go on and on and on. We've had episodes of disaster. But today, we told that as a result of our difficult history, more than 250,000 of our compatriots had to transition to the Elysian plane of glory. We are lucky not because we're strong or we're smarter, but we're lucky because of the grace of God. Yes. And we are here. We left with a country called Liberia. And that no matter what political background we come from, we have to agree on Liberia. And I'm very happy that this culture of democracy is taking root. It is one achievement that we don't tout too much, but it's an achievement that we need to celebrate. The fact that we've had 2 successive democratic elections, no matter the result, is a monumental achievement if you look down the tunnel of Liberian history. The fact that somebody can get very, very, very mad with what is happening in a constituency, maybe in Lofa, in Lima, and say, I can be representative too. You know, just as maybe my friend and brother, my big brother, Kpehe Ngafuan, felt that he could be representative in Lima. He got tired of being an economist at Ministry of Planning, a demographer. He said, no, I can represent my people. I can show a better product. And he went, he stood, and he won. And he did not have to manipulate. The power of the ballot is taking root in Liberia. That makes me very, very happy that the ballot is succeeding. Because I'm always reminded of Malcolm X's statement, you either have the ballot or you have the bullet. Those two things are always in competition. If the ballot doesn't succeed, the bullet will succeed. You know, if the ballot succeeds, the bullet recedes. So they are in that dialectical relationship, at least. Because if the ballot succeeds, we have less argument for the bullet. There is only weaklings or those who want to torpedo the democratic gains or want to resort. And then the generality of the people can look at them and say, no, we cannot allow you. Because wars of violence begin in the minds of few people. And then others join. If an environment is nurtured and can be supported. But if everyone or the generality of the people are suing for peace, they will say, well, there are better ways to vent out our frustration. If we are so mad, we have one instrument, the constitutional instrument, the ballot. That is our bullet, the ballot. So it is happening like that. At least there is an open space, people are talking, more than 25 newspapers, television stations are thriving. The private ones are thriving even more than the government one. So people can sit in the comfort of their room and talk. Then they are playing. They can split off a government official in pieces, you know, through whatever intellectual power they have. And so people are getting powerful. The talk show callers are new and renowned in Liberia. They are, some of them are quote unquote small men in body, but they are legendary because every morning people hear them, and when they come out, they say, oh, this young man is the one that always calls and deals with this issue. So people are impacting, which is a source of pride. So let's keep it like that. Let's keep it like that. Let's keep the democratic project going as we deal with all our challenges on the economic front. Now, I will give you opportunity to ask me some specific questions on government and what have you. We are in the second term of Madam Salif. I am the Minister of Foreign Affairs and the Dean of the Cabinet. So I wear two caps. We have to coordinate the Cabinet, meaning that even issues that relate to others, one of the things I can do, I can tell them that there are people in Minnesota that have concerns about this issue. So you will not be hearing a professor with all the answers here. I will hear you out. Where I have the answers, I will give it to you. Where I don't, I will take note and carry information to Monrovia. But where we are now, we're in the second term, carving what is called Vision 2030, economic agenda, a political agenda, a governance agenda that is meant principally to transform Liberia into a middle-income country by the year 2030. I think some of you might have benefited from some of the consultations that were done in the diaspora by the Vision Committee, steering committee headed by Dr. Tobana Tipote. Hopefully by the end of this year, the document, the draft of the document will be out, and that I know fully well that it has to be validated, and some of you can have an opportunity to weigh in Some of those that are part of the crafting process include Dr. Edward Dunn, even Dr. Sawyer, and a lot of renowned Liberian intellectuals. So we can criticize here, but let's ensure that our criticism impact on the documents of the future. So, but specifically, we came to the U.S. for the U.S. General Assembly. That is still ongoing. The president left on Saturday, and that I was sent to North Carolina to represent her at a university called Wake Forest University that has some partnership with the University of Liberia. We're trying to consolidate the relationship such that there can be student and faculty exchange, and there can be exchanges of transfer of expertise in the health sciences. Now, for Minnesota, as you all know, sometime this year, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs began the issuance of ECOWAS biometric passports in the diaspora, beginning in Washington, D.C. We are going to be doing similarly in New York, the consulate in New York. But we are working modalities to reach closer to Liberians as soon as we can sort out budgetary and other constraints. And one of my missions here is to hear you out so that we can make a case. And the case was made with me, but I don't think you had so much of a case to make with me because I was already so on the case.
That's good. That's good. That's good.
The case is for the establishment of a consulate in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I personally see the necessity, and I'm going to work through the government bureaucracy because at the end of the day, it will require funding. So you can rest assured that it is on my agenda. And that we had a meeting with the city manager yesterday at the City Hall, Brooklyn Park. As you know, there is a sister city relationship with Kakata, and there are a lot of things that are happening. I think there are plans to even assist BWI. Incidentally, BWI is my alma mater, and Kakata is my town. So Brooklyn Park is my town too. So we're working out all those details. So it's both official and somewhat casual. So I will stop here, stop being too formal, and allow you to pose whatever question you have, and I will attempt to give you answers. Thank you.
I want to thank the Foreign Minister for that brief remark. Here's how we're going to do it. First of all, he mentioned the movement of women in Africa and the fact that we have made history as president. So we don't want to leave the influence of women outside of our deliberation. So I've invited the leader of the Liberian Women Initiative in Minnesota to join me here to kind of moderate this forum. So Doris, you want to take over our representative?
Good evening, everyone. Welcome again. I'm sure you've already been welcome to the Talk Business Forum with the Liberian Foreign Minister, Honorable Augustine Kpehe Ngafuan. Just some house rules. All, huh? Oh, you already did?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll reiterate the house rules. No, please.
come here,
Even though they read the house rules, but some people still have their cell phones on. So please, it's important. So we don't distract. If you have to take your phone calls, just step out for a minute.
Question.
Please let us respect one another as we ask the questions. And I know one of the things that I was asked to stress is when you ask the question, there will be an opportunity for one follow-up, but please, there's no interjection while the person is there talking and so forth. It is actually interruption. So please. Okay. And then I think some housekeeping. You would have to do that. Did you do that already?
Sure.
Okay, what the bathroom is, the restroom, that kind of thing?
We all know whether this is your center here, so it's right outside. But before we go to the questions, there's one question I want to pose to this group, because the minister highlighted the point about the consulate here in Minnesota. And all of us who live here, we know what it means, or why is it even a question or a reason to talk about it. So there was a group, I understand, we're trying to look at the survey of Liberians and the question about the number of Liberians in the Twin Cities. But I think this represents a cross-section of all of us here. So we'll do a short survey here, just asking that question. All those who believe that we should have a consulate here in Minnesota, just raise your hand. Let's see. It's pretty much a consensus, so we don't have an issue. We know that we want that. So we'll be talking about that further in terms of the details as we go forward. Now, as far as the questions, we got two sides here. We're going to take one side, and we'll roll that way, and make sure that we got as many questions out there. Again, I will reiterate, we have one question. The question time is limited to about 1 minute. You can't go further than that. Yeah. We don't want dialogue. There's no point in that. The commentaries and all of that, if you just want to keep it aside, you can meet the foreign minister and tell him when you met him in school and how you studied with him. Let's do that different. But if you got a question, let it be very succinct. Pose the question, and he will answer the question. We'll go from there. How does that sound?
Very good.
Great?
Very good.
So we're going to start. Okay, great. He's saying we should take at least 3 questions at a time. So 3 persons, that means, right?
Okay, so one, Mr. Massaquoi. Sir,
Sir.
Mr. Mann, and another person on this side.
This side, right, Mr.
Badiga. Okay.
Well, firstly, I want to, I'd like to address the minister from two perspectives. One, as the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, Republic of Liberia, and also as a colleague, somebody that I went to college with. Okay, people. Okay, all right. Okay. At least in my lifetime, I can brag that I was a college colleague with the Foreign Minister of Liberia, so I'm proud of that. Okay, so give me a chance, please. Please. Don't teach me ethics. I know that.
Time is going.
Okay. Well, God, welcome to the Twin Cities. My question has to do with, it's going to segue from a remark that you made, especially around not dwelling on the past and reconciliation. For a number of times, the last 5-6 years, I've visited the country after the sentence of Madam Salif. And I'm greatly concerned about something that I personally have seen and things that I've heard on the radio. Is this issue about rift between 2 young ministers. We belong to the same generation. And for Liberia to progress, there has to be a reconciliation from our generation, because I consider our generation a lost generation. We did not have a role model, and the kids coming after us have a challenge. I read that, you have this personal beef that well, the guy who's the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Honorable Kpehe, and I want you to finance. Sorry. And so I know there are some people say that a group labeled as Ngafuan nice. I don't know what that means. And then the second point I wanted to make is that this whole idea of them versus us mentality, where people like Liberians are returning home to the United States are met with some level of hostility, or they're coming home to take our jobs. They're coming home to do this. They're coming to do that. I just want you to address some of these issues. How can we move forward? And personally, I want you to touch on, is it true that you have this rift that is going on with Mr. Kpehe, that you guys have 2 groups running around Monrovia? Thank you.
answer your first and then we continue on.
Well, Honorable Minister, mine is a question and recommendation. Decisions that are made in Liberia do affect all of us. And some of us intend to go no matter how long we have stayed here. My first concern is about the length of time that our senators and representatives serve. I'm very concerned about that. Number two, if people are coming from Liberia to educate us on anything, be it 2030 or so, we will hope, because some of the things that make people angry here is that too much money is being spent. You cannot send 10 messengers to carry one message. And I have opened my ears and I heard people complaining about that, because we know from whence we have come. For you to send somebody to tell Harris man that the president wants to see, you don't have to send 10 persons. Thank you. That's what I wanted to say.
Okay. Third person.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, what we said, excuse me, we said we're going to take 3 questions, the first, the second, and then the third. So that's the first set of questions. The second set, the guy in the back first, second.
Mine's going to be very brief.
Let it,
Okay, so let's
first person go first.
Go ahead, answer your question.
First of all, Honorable Ngafuan, I just want to welcome you to the Twin City. I know you're already received.
We're not hearing you.
Making noise. Shut the hell up.
But my question is going to be very brief. Currently, I'm representing TMZ Web Radio here today, and my question for most of my audience is regard to the dual citizenship. And these have been hard-burning issues on both on the radio and on the forum. And my attitude on this is that I don't know when someone start being like Liberian, because since I think I've been in this country for 10 years and I've never seen any Liberian that don't want to go back home. No matter whether they have an American passport or they could be in Australia or anywhere. Everybody heart is close to home, even back home or in refugee camps, and even living back home. We survived because we had some relative or somebody in the diaspora that was able to send something. And even if you didn't have that person, it trickled down some kind of way, and we all benefited from it. And the fact that people are feeling that they are more Liberian than others because for whatever reason a person decides to have a dual nationality, I don't know, but that is something that I really want you to. I don't know whether it's in the point. I met this. I forgot his representative when the vice president was here.
Baka,
yeah. He said he one of those that were pushing it. I don't know because it's kind of moving at a snail pace right now. So I don't know. That's my question.
Well, let me start with the last one, the funny guy's question on dual citizenship. To some extent, it links with Master Quest's question, them versus us. Well, let me say this. As a result of our war, Liberians dispersed in the 4 corners of the earth. And you go to practically any country in the world now, you will find a Liberian, surprisingly. The issue, the dual citizenship issue, is really a hot button issue. And the feedback I know that is back home is that the society is practically split in the middle on this one. The legislature, at the level of the legislature, it hasn't gained much traction. I know that Representative Parker has spoken for it. Sumo Kupi, former pro tem Watterson, and others. But I will encourage you all to find some time to impact on the debate in Liberia. Because I know that sometimes Liberians in the diaspora invest much time in discussing this. Yeah. But there's practically full unanimity on this issue here. So you gain no added value trying to convince someone here. Try to convince people there. Get a strategy of impacting on the debate there. And that way I think you all need some coordination in the diaspora. So as to impact on talk shows and whatever. In fact, let me introduce people that came with me. I have here the Deputy Managing Director of Liberia Broadcasting System for rural broadcasting. He, before being elevated to that position, he was Liberia's topmost talk show host. Mr. Patrick Warner. These are the individuals that shaped the debate in Liberia. As I usually say, I always ask for his apology. Don't mind his height here, but he's very tall in Liberia. So these are the individuals who are citizenship, and some of you, I will encourage you to link up with them. Let's talk, the benefits and what have you. And let me introduce Mr. Horatio Bobby Willie. He's the Assistant Minister of Public Affairs, Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Before then, he worked as a reporter at Star Radio. Before then, Radio Veritas. But, so there's one suggestion. Please find a strategy for Liberia on this issue. 2, let me give you some snippets of the debate. Some are saying that when people talk the dual citizenship issue, they only talk Liberians in America on vis-a-vis this issue. Now, our people are somehow still very xenophobic. They stay very xenophobic. And somebody was raising an issue, even on a talk show, very interesting. So dual citizenship? So does it mean that a Sierra Leone can be Liberian citizen too? Or Guinea can be Liberian citizen too? Or Nigeria can be Liberian citizen also? You know? That dimension of it, you know, of West Africans being citizens of the country and citizens of Liberia, that is the toughest little angle to climb. I'm giving you a snippet of some of the arguments that come up there, and some of the phobias that the people express. If you want it, I will give it to you a little bit. So, some of them have less worry about Nigerians in America because they know they've been supported through Western Union and other means. And as I was telling some of them in a debate, like besides the issue of dual citizenship, we come back to his issue. There are some Liberians back home who have this phobia of people coming from the diaspora. They are coming to take our jobs. In fact, they did not end their strikes. They feel that during the course of our war, people chicken out. And now that things have pacified, they are coming now to say they are the masters here. So some people, unfortunately, greet their own brothers in the diaspora with that disdain. With that disdain. It is a serious issue back home. And over time, we have to solve that problem. Although some Liberians too from the diaspora went back home, go back with so much arrogance. And, you know, in the diaspora, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Some of them are fortunate to take some of the ugly tendencies and carry back home. And the people who already are very, very non-receptive, they use them as poster child, or children rather, for opposing Liberians in the diaspora. And I was very struck. I went to a program, and no less than the vice president of the Liberian Council of Churches, he has so much of a vehement opposition to Liberians in the diaspora. How do I attack him in the forum? You know, so it's an issue that we have to deal with. So, but over time, we hope that actions can be taken on both fronts. want people accepting the fact that, yes, you can accept the money through Western Union and what have you, have no problem with it. But if the person who is sending the money brings himself, you have problem with it. You want the money, but the man brings himself now to live with you, then you have problem with it. You know? But there's one challenge over time I think will evaporate. So on the dual citizenship issue, this is my advice. Please have a strategy. In fact, most government officials don't have problem. This, at the level of the legislature, you know, the legislature proceeds in such a way that it gets a little scared. Some legislators are very bold. Some say, well, I got to watch the pulse of the people first before I stand on the side of an issue that will make me to lose votes. So go there and work. Have a strategy for each legislator. Each legislator. Some of you are from these constituencies. In fact, just they're about 100 and something now, right? Yes. Who knows Representative Larry Nyankwe? What strategy do we have for him on this issue? Have we convinced him on this issue? Would he go back to Liberia and be an advocate? Can we take this thing from 513 and make it and put it in active file? What strategy do we have? So that much I can say on that. Okay, I took your message that well, you don't send 10 messages to say the president say hello, right? Definitely, I will carry as cool as you said it. Yes, we have to look at that. We have to look at that. And to me, it's not just also coming for these real substantive engagements on documents and what have you. People need to send prior information, prior data. To say, okay, we're coming to discuss this document. Send it ahead, people read because they are voluminous, a week, a month. They read, they engage through their organizations. Then a short term of interaction can add more value. So Mr. Mayor, I take your suggestion and I will try to disseminate it. Mr. Masakwe, you said rape between two young ministers. What, you know, I guess this much I tell you. Boxing, I'm told, is between two persons, right? A boxing match. Now, and so two persons must be in the ring for you to have a boxing match. Match, rather. But if somebody is not fighting, can we say that there's a boxing match? Well, I can say I haven't been in the ring. I haven't been in the ring. I was not in the ring before. I didn't get in the ring. A few months ago, I was not going in the ring. So, to be a public official is to sometimes be a victim of perception. Perception. And I think also the press feeds on negative perceptions. And sometimes we have to swallow things, accept some lies for some time, so that eventually the truth will prevail. My mother has been in vehicles hearing about her son, and she will wonder whether they are talking about someone from Ethiopia. Yes. People in my family have heard said things about me. They know people are talking about someone else. But to be a public man is to accept that you will be caricatured. So that's the thing we accept. But on the specific issue, read, follow. This man has made no comment. Go and check. This man has made no comment. No comment. He's taking no action. Go read. Front page has put things on his website. Oh, wow. And let me volunteered this because the reason why I don't like to address this issue publicly and what have you, I don't want to feed into negative perception. And so I will not go into the depth for the sake of not trying to create the very impression you're talking about. 2 young ministers fighting. I was the youngest individual selected to enter the government in 2005 as budget director. And I was lonely. And I entered the cabinet room. Across the table, I think the average age there was 55. And I was merely 35. And it was what in football terminology we call the Galacticos. People from, Wall Street, this street, that street. And for me, I just came from Broad Street. So, for me, I considered myself the representative of the young people in government. I felt that it didn't have to do with me. That I had to be used as the basis for other young people to come on board.
That's it.
And today I'm happy. I'm the happiest man that you hear about. Firstly, you heard about John Molu later. You heard about Bian Kesseley. You heard about Amara Conan being a minister of planning or whatever. And there are a lot of young people in government now. And now we can even say Patrick Honor, right? I just say this. If I had made a bad impression about young people as Minister of Finance, my friend and brother Amara would never ever have been given the opportunity. Because people would have said, you cannot try a young man again. You get what I'm saying? The issue, that mental fear about young people being given substantive position, that fear has evaporated. And if I have achieved anything, if I have achieved nothing, rather, I can rest in peace with the fact that I became a door opener. And that was my mission. So why would I? People who know here, some who know the fight, will know the extent to which I go to promote my colleagues. Because for me, this much I do, I believe in competition. I don't love to be in an environment of mediocrity. The sharper people you interact with, the sharper you become. The duller people you interact with, the duller you become. So, always find people who are sharp, and you get sharper because of it. Because what? Steel sharpens steel. That I believe, and that's how I live. You know, you are a competitive man. You know our environment. That's how you taught us to be during those days when we all studied accounting and other things. So, I know that there will be perceptions, there will be attitudes, but for me, I have no gripe. And let me say this. Intra-government, there will be disagreements. Normal disagreements that must happen on an issue. Government is not a monolithic bunch. If President Obama calls his cabinet to meeting, do you think that Hillary Clinton and Tim Gardner will agree on every issue? They will disagree, and that's how they should be. They should do. For the sake of the country, it doesn't mean that Hillary Clinton has a beef with Tim Gardner. So let us professionally disagree. Now, the press is having a field day on disagreement in government normally. Yes. Yeah. And so we become a victim of it. In fact, let me just say this much again. There was a line Front Page Africa always carried that, talking about the beef, that Ngafuan feels that Amara Conan honored him to be finance minister and he would not rest. He will not rest until, let's look at it logically. Yeah? This man was Minister of Finance 3.5 years. This man. 3.5 years. If you go at the Ministry of Finance, you check the roster of finance ministers, you'll find out that the average time, the average tenure is 1.5 to 2 years. So, to some extent, I was an outlier. Even survived for 3.5 years. And I tell you this about finance. I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, young man, for more than 2.5 years. I can say this, and I'm saying it honestly. But one statement I always give people: every 1 year you spend at finance represents 1 year deduction in your lifespan. I'm telling you this. As I say this, I remember my friend and colleague now, John B.S. Davis, who I recruited to be Controller General. He was Controller at LBD. I brought him. Very energetic man. You know Joe? You started with John. After 3 months, John became a pressure patient. Up to today, now he's president of LBDI. He had transitioned, he's the president of LBDI. But John now is a pressure patient. Thanks to finance. I don't even trust my own health. Thanks to finance. So, many of the big targets we set for the country, during my tenure, we met. 5 billion debt waiver, blah, blah, blah. Setting up an accounting system for government for the first time ever. We have a chart of account. We adopted internationally accepted accounting principles for the first time ever. We'll be producing financial statements for the first time ever. We introduced the integrated financial management system that government's processes are automated. All those things were done while we were there. And so, now we feel that things are on autopilot. Things are on autopilot. I don't have to be there. I can prove nothing at finance again. And why should I be disgruntled? Just think of it logically. The Minister of Foreign Affairs is the first minister in government. It's the dean of the cabinet. So will I be disgruntled about what? Elevation? Will I be? So this perception, and it's the first time I'm addressing the public. So you are you are in the vanguard here on this one. You know, this perception that the man is disgruntled, why? If there's, let me tell you something what finance did to me. My family members all know that. There's a perception that you finance minister, you're controlling the country chart, and so you should be rich. No one except that you're broke. And people will go and lie on your name. You stole 5 million, you stole it. When you broke, your family member comes to you, you tell them you don't get money. They know that. You know, my cousin is here, a friend Ngafuan. They know the family things. They will never believe it. Because the Liberian man has accepted that the finance minister should be a thief. And if you refuse to be a thief, they cannot believe it. So they go and say you are mean. Some of you might have heard that I'm very mean. That this guy is mean. Mean for what? I'm mean with the country's resources. It's not for me. It's for Massaquoi. Although it's in the diaspora. It's not for me. I have my salary. I live on my salary. I give charity on my salary. When I'm broke, I wouldn't steal to make you happy. I wouldn't steal. Yes, we face the pressure. I go practice football on Sunday morning. Bannersville, I see 15 persons on my back. I come to my house. I see another 25. Sometimes I'm dealing with people, I don't even go to church. My mother has chastised me for that. You know, come and see the pressure we face. But finance helped to concretize this notion that some of us were very mean, you know, because we were sitting on the country's couch. And I wanted to leave that stuff. At least the perception of meanness is evaporating gradually now. Because now they don't see me yet. I'm not approving allotment here and there. If people put people on the wall to get allotment before this man, he never did it. Go and ask your, excuse me, Lebanese, Chinese, Indians and what have you. Whether I, as finance minister, I put pen to paper more than $20 billion in agreement. Ask anybody. Ask whether we ask for a dime. I remember one time when we had signed the China Union Agreement. $2.6 billion, the largest investment ever in Liberia. Somebody called me, a former government official, what do you call his name? Oh my boy, I know you boiling. I know you boiling. I said, boiling what? What? You signed that kind of stuff? Wow. You said what? But it told me our high history. And I feel that some of us, we must suffer for the sake of progress. Because there's a perception issue. The common man doesn't believe that someone can try to be honest and live honestly. Once you're in government, you are a thief. You are a thief. You must be stealing from the people. So it is hard for people to believe that. So, in short, I was not disgruntled. I am not disgruntled. The last time I was saying, the finance minister is at the heart of the success of a government. I told people that they remember that I said, everyone should always wake up and pray for your finance minister. You don't have to like him, pray for him. Why? I'm talking about, the first thing we're talking here, I told you about consulate, right? I had a modifier. You remember those days when Benjamin Brown taught us modifying clauses? The modifier was that I'm going to work to see how I can find budgetary resources. Huh? All your consulate thing, what we've done yet? We've chunked it on budgetary resources. I told you don't have to convince me because you cannot preach to the choir yet on this issue. If I don't get the money, if the finance minister fails and cannot raise our money, Mr. Doe, I will tell you, yes, let's pray to God. So we have to pray for the finance minister to succeed. So there is no beef. With me, there is no beef. And there will never be a beef with me. It is not part of my character. I know that people will disagree with me. I don't have control over how people react to me. But I have control over how I react to people. All I can do. And I will always react positively to people. Sorry that was long-winded on this.
But that was good. That was good. Thank you. At least I can quote from about
The man in the back, yeah. So you go first, the lady.
We have
Second. I just have a brief.
So before the question, we're still following our protocol. We have one here, two over here, so we're going to have two here, one over there, and come back. Same way, right? So we had the gentleman back there first, and then the lady.
In the interest of time, can we ask the minister to make his answers brief so that we can...
If you want go, go. If you want go, go. Don't tell me
Oh yeah.
Can I go ahead with my question? All right, please. Please, my name is H.E Hon. First of all, let me just begin by giving thanks to our Honorable Minister for having forum with us like this. I believe in the past we never had such a things. I know you started by naming our country to be a country of making history. We produce the world best. First of all, we were the first on planet Earth, let's say in Africa, to gain our independence. That's great. Hold on. No, please. I don't just want to ask questions because I want to ask questions.
We gotta let it premise.
Which, of course, I go think for the country. I visited Liberia recently, and I saw that the least. My question is about the least of these in Liberia, please. And I saw that the least of these in Liberia are still struggling. I know we may say, okay, because of the war. But I did a research, and I went on Rwanda. Rwanda had a worst genocide, or one of the worst genocide on earth, we know. But today, in Rwanda, almost 96% of their country is electrified. Liberia is known to have a lot of resources, but yet our people are still living on a day. As a foreign minister, who been visiting this country, that went through the same kind of a war we went through, but yet they recover very fast. What is the reason for Liberia stay at the same level with all what we have? A country with the bounty on planet Earth that no other country has. A country that have just 3.5 million, but we have oil. A country with the best gold on planet Earth. What is the reason that we are recovering very, very slow? Please.
Good question. Good question. Good question. Good question. Good question. Very good question.
We learn from our past. My name is Arthur Muzakuma Jr. Since you asked for it, I just let it go and
Patrick.
you said I should learn from the past, and I totally agree with you. And
Question
one of the root causes of our civil war was corruption. And I put down the list nepotism, cronyism, and that caused our civil war. And many government officials that didn't have the opportunity to leave the country and came across rebels somewhere, executed, all because of these factors. Can you tell this body today that we have a repeat of all of those things that I just listed? Corruption, nepotism, and cronyism. Thank you. Thank you.
Good question.
Yeah, but you were not only Aqua broadcast. I have it already there.
Go ahead.
Independent eye.
Now my question is, why is it that we have all these ministers and representatives from local county? If the government cannot even come up and build this road, can you just put your hand in your pocket and get
So where are they getting money from? The Nigerian against Steve, where are they getting money from?
in the diaspora?
No, he said he can't steal, but some
my honorable husband over there and I Honor took a project on Lupo Road in the Sarawak community. They had a swamp where there was no way to get in and out of go to school. And they have large population in that Sarawak community. We want to get project with the council with SE, our own money, and build this road.
Wow.
Yeah. People thought I want to be a representative of Senegal. I said, I don't see why I'm here for that. Yeah. So, my question is, when you get back there, why is it that you forget the same thing? You got to go for the government instead for at least
good question.
that the first round, yes, I was long-winded because I had to address an issue.
No, personal.
I'm original in hearing the address.
Thank you.
They say you asked about Rwanda.
Yeah.
And try to justify the situation in Rwanda vis-a-vis Liberia and why. Let me just say this. Rwanda had one of the world's worst genocides. The Rwandan Civil War lasted, if I'm not mistaken, 2 years. The Rwandan Civil War had this dimension.
They were not destructive.
Went to the stream. But what did they? They did not destroy infrastructure. And let me just give you a story. Even DR Congo. When Kabila came and overthrew Mobutu, there was a rebellion against Laurent Kabila, the father to the president. And I remember vividly, the rebels seized the hydroelectric plant. And while there, they came on a bombardment, serious attack, counter-attack from Kabila forces. But they did not behave like Liberian rebels. The Liberian rebels at the hydroelectric plant, water treatment plant, they destroyed everything and fled. Why those rebels did, they left everything and went back, they retreated. Kabila came again and seized it. Kinshasa was never ever deprived of electricity. The destruction that your country went through 14 years. In fact, there were episodes. People that know Liberia, after the 1990 war, when everyone went back, had things remain like that. You know, many of the infrastructure that got damaged were not damaged at that point. But then the octopus, then the empresses, arson, burning of facilities was a feature of the empresses. You know, burning people's houses. The first version, maybe there's creativity now, the negative creativity, you know, never, entered the minds of Liberians. They waited for 6 years. Then they started burning places. Then the World War, the World War I, the World War II, the World War III. Yeah, all that stuff. So how we fight?